Thursday morning. I am Mark Cook, and I am really excited today to be talking to Phil D'Angelo. Phil, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. First of all, you look terrific. That suit, tie, pocket square combination is spot on. Love it.
Gotta love the pocket squares.
That's a beautiful thing. So, what we want to talk about today is Phil's specialty, which is home care assistance. It's a huge topic. You know, as a large part of the population gets older, people are looking for different ways to take care of those people. You know, the traditional way, which is not the best way, I think, is just to put them in an assisted living home and go from there. This is a totally different dynamic what you guys are trying to do. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about it?
Sure, Mark. Thank you. Well, the ideal situation, back in the day, you'd send your grandparents into a nursing home and you'd visit them and you'd hear of the different stories of how they were cared for, and almost nobody wants to be there. As a matter of fact, 2/3 of older Americans want to stay in their own home after 66 years old. So they've worked their whole life to get that home, and that's where they want to finish their life at. So home care assistance brings the caregiver to you. And so now in your home you could be taken care of in the comforts and in your familiar surroundings. So it sets them at ease, and now they're more willing to get help as opposed to shipping them off and putting them in an unfamiliar place.
It's a softer approach. I think that part of the issue why it's so difficult for an older person to change is because it's a fear of the unknown. It's I don't want to do something different. I know that my grandparents resisted it until there was no other choice. And it sounds like this is providing a alternative to that. And why don't you talk a little bit about the process of how you take these people from potential to under your care?
Sure. Well, what generally goes on, families are caring for their parents. Usually it's a daughter that's helping out, and she's working, she has her own family, and then she's spending all of her free time taking care of her parents. And this can become troublesome. And then there's even problems where interfamily relationships are strained because maybe other siblings aren't doing enough or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes really difficult on everybody. So what we try to do is we come into the home. Somebody will come to me usually at their wits' end looking for help.
Right. It's just how it is.
That's just how it is, exactly right. So, we'll talk about the ways we can help, and it could be as simple as preparing dinner or breakfast. We could sit there and help with more important things like getting them dressed, helping them go to the bathroom, ensuring that they don't fall down, or being their companion for the day. Usually our care takes over because someone's already passed away and you're down to one parent.
Right.
And so their partner that used to help them through everything is no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
So the burden shifted to the siblings, and then there's just too much for them. So then we bring that assistance into the home to complete the day. Now, we try and go in there and be part of the family and a friend and bring a process to the house that the patient becomes more engaged and opens up to us. If we're friends rather than your housekeeper, it's a better relationship.
Absolutely. And what it sounds like to me, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but you guys really have a lot of different services you offer that aren't traditional home care services.
Sure.
I know you guys are way into this cognitive therapy, and you're really trying to help patients with dementia and the early stages of Alzheimer's to figure out how we can help them live better lives and improve the functioning of their brain to make the transition into elder age a little bit easier. Why don't we touch on that a little bit right now?
Yeah, this is a very big topic. I mean, dementia and Alzheimer's is on the rise. It's at a record rate. And caring for someone with this without really science, the medicine isn't really there yet.
Right.
So we've been developing cognitive therapies, which is a holistic approach. So if you take a holistic approach combined with medical treatments, we can slow down the progression of these diseases. And what we're trying to do is bring activities into the home that help you focus on your ability to pay attention or work on your language skills so you can maintain proper speech and be able to have spontaneous conversations still. And then also work with your executive functions. So we're trying to help you with your problem solving and your judgments.
You made a very simple passing comment earlier. Well, hello, Windows. So you made a very passing comment earlier that I thought was really interesting. It could be as simple as playing chess.
Yes.
That the home health aide would go and simply play a game of chess, engaging the patient and not forcing, but
Right.
allowing them to process the moves of a chess game to help ward off some of those things, because the theory is, as long as your mind is active and you are constantly giving information and forcing your brain to process the information, it's going to keep that brain healthier and,
Yes.
and more vibrant, and it is going to push those symptoms further down, which is a really awesome dynamic. Anybody that's gone through those situations knows how sad and horrible they really, really are. It is like watching someone that you know and love that just doesn't know and love you anymore. It is a painful, painful process. So anybody and any group out there, any business, anybody that is helping people with dementia and Alzheimer's, I think are true heroes.
Yeah, I have the highest respect for the interventionists and for the caregivers. The opportunity to take care is usually something that's driven from internal. Past experiences or prior life experiences may lead you to it. Just like nurses and doctors, they're not necessarily doing it because it's a high-paying job. It's an interest that they have. It's a calling or desire to help is why they're doing it. And a lot of our caregivers that we hire do follow that protocol. They're there because they care. They're not there because it's a job.
Right.
You know, we have a very high standard for hiring our people.
Well, and you talked a little bit about kind of getting into it, and I know that we're up against a break, but I want to talk a little bit about your background, because you have a very interesting story as well on how you kind of ended up here.
Yeah, I do, Mark. For me, I started out in IT. I was a project manager. I did that for over 20 years. But looking back on my life also to share, as a child, my grandparents lived in Philadelphia. My mom didn't work at the time, and as her parents got up in age, we had to run to Philly almost every day to help them out. You know, taking them to the doctors, giving them medicines, or helping them with meal preparations, and taking care of any particular emergencies that may have come up. And so you started to see this passion within my mother anyway that got me interested in this. And then my mom, who passed away about 5 years ago in a hospice situation, just reminded me of what it was like to help. And I remember applying some beeswax to her lips on her last days just because she couldn't talk anymore and her lips were real dry. And I knew then I wanted to do something different. And when I saw the opportunity to join HomeCare Assistance and what a remarkable program they have and what an amazing franchise opportunity it was, I had to jump in with both feet and give it my best shot.
That's really cool, and it's you know, I think you touched on it very, very briefly, that you were about to pursue a career in IT, and this kind of just called you back. And it's like, look, the world doesn't need another IT guy, but if I can make a difference day to day in people's lives, that's what I want to do. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with Phil D'Angelo from HomeCare Assistance, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about home care on Morning Coffee.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Working again, and we're talking to Phil D'Angelo from HomeCare Assistance right here in Marlton, New Jersey. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the business side of things because, whether it's necessary or not, it is a business. But HomeCare Assistance is kind of a interesting company because they are a big corporation that has franchises. So you are actually the franchise owner of our local HomeCare Assistance, which I think creates a pretty awesome dynamic because what we have is a support of a large company, but then I have a local guy who lives and works in my community that represents this larger company. So tell me a little bit about that dynamic.
HomeCare Assistance is one of Entrepreneur's 500's fastest growing franchises, which is it's a proud thing. It's something that they really hang their hat on. So that was one of the things that drew me to them, but it was more about their process and what they do. Kathy Johnson and her husband started this company back in 2003 because their parents lived here in New Jersey and they were over in California and they needed help. So they were trying to get care and they had great difficulty with it. So anyway, they saw the need and began the franchise opportunity. This franchise, we have, they've authored half a dozen books that we can find on Amazon, and the support system that I have is just unlimited. I have franchisees in Central and North Jersey, so the whole state is covered. And if I have a situation that comes up that I'm not familiar with or haven't handled, I can fall back on my other resources and my other partners and see how they've handled it. Or if I'm short caregivers or if I need a specialty, I can call upon them. And in some cases we have overlap and we can get help. The training is terrific. We have a 52-week marketing plan, so it allows me to reach out to the community and it directs me in a way so that I'm with the Alzheimer's groups, I'm with the hospice groups, and I'm visiting the assisted living centers or the 55 and overs, and I'm offering programs to them like a MindFit program. It's a 6 weeks interactive activities-based program where we're going to get the seniors to come into their into the center there, and we're going to run a 6-week program where we're going to talk about their social ties, get them to engage about maybe when they went to their prom or their 21st birthday or highlights, and then also work on some other attention activities and just have fun together, and get the group to engage.
That's important because what it sounds like is an amazing support system. It's a support system that works on a lot of different levels. You guys are supporting the patients. The larger parent company is supporting you guys. All of the franchise owners work together to support each other. It's such a fantastic dynamic that it's almost, in one way, it's almost a shame that it took so long for it to kind of appear this way. 2003
is when they started.
Okay, so how amazing of the entrepreneurial spirit or whatever you want to call it is that people identified a need. They wanted to change the way they saw things being done, and they did it.
They went to change the way the world ages, Mark.
That's
and that's
awesome.
Exactly what they did. Even our caregivers, all the franchise owners submit a reel or a story about their best caregiver, and then those particular stories are reviewed by the board, and the best caregiver within the HomeCare Assistance is brought out to our annual convention.
Okay.
And they're honored.
That's
That's
great. That's incentive, right?
Vacation. Sure, and they're so. We have some of this on YouTube. Just the recognition that they get is unbelievable. It's brought me to tears and others to tears. They'll get a 1-minute standing ovation from 200 people, and knowing how important their job is.
And that's special. Things like that are really important and special to people, and that's, in this world that we live in right now, that gets lost way too often. That there is a positivity that can get spread by the way you guys are doing things. It's really fantastic. And the way you kind of just touched on it, I want to talk a little bit about about the people that are physically going into the homes and helping the patients. And you know what, it's hard to call them patients because you touched on it earlier. They become friends. They become family because that's how much HomeCare Assistance cares about the people. Yes, there has to be costs associated with it. Unfortunately, in the dynamics of a capitalist society, things cost money, but it's not a situation where you're trying to exploit or over revenue, right?
No, it's not a revenue game for me,
Right.
or for us in general. I mean, if you go to assisted living, it's going to take almost all your money. In all likelihood, your home, your savings, everything you have. So while home care assistance isn't free, we're not that costly. And if you're in need of care, you're going to need to invest in your own care.
Right.
And until insurances bring their standards up and allow to cover these
Right.
things, this is where the challenge we face as a community.
Yeah, and I kind of led you in this weird, like, twisty question, but I started by asking about, you know,
Oh, yeah,
I don't, what do you call them? I want to call them therapists. I want to call them assistants. I want to call them aides.
Well,
What do you call them?
They're caregivers by title, they're interventionists and they're aides. They're just part of the family after a while, but really we call them caregivers because that's what they do.
And I know we're up against a break, but I want people to know that they go through a very rigorous screening process. They go through a very rigorous training process.
Yes, they do.
So I want people to know out there that these are qualified professionals that are coming in to help your elderly family members. These are not people that were just looking for a part-time job and found one.
Oh,
These are the specialists at the top of their field, the best of the best.
The best of the best. I mean, we hire about 1 in 25. We do a vigorous background check, all 50 states. We do an adult abuse background check. There's different screening that we go through, personality profiling. We want to know that the person truly does care and they're not just trying to earn a simple paycheck, because it can be a job that's not very auditable.
Right.
So, you know, you're in a home, you're trusting them to do their job and take care of your loved one.
Right.
And
It's a lot of responsibility.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is. And I don't want to send just anybody into your home. I want you to know that your mother or father or your aunt or your uncle or your husband is being cared for the way you would have cared for him yourself.
Awesome. Love this guy. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back on Morning Coffee, and I'm going to tell everybody, and Phil is going to tell everybody, how to get in touch with them.
When I was injured, I couldn't play basketball for my entire sophomore year.
After years of wear and tear, I knew something was seriously wrong with Deja's knee when the swelling wouldn't go down.
Young athletes are still growing. They need specialized care only available here at Dayton Children's.
I wanted the best care for Deja because I wanted her to return to the thing that she loves to do, and that's basketball.
At Dayton Children's Sports Medicine, we're treating tomorrow's champions.
Right care.
Right now.
Right here.
Dayton Children's.
Just right for kids.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Talking to Phil D'Angelo from HomeCare Assistance. Now, Phil, it's been an awesome morning so far. Myself and the audience has learned a ton about how HomeCare Assistance is kind of changing the game a little bit in HomeCare Assistance. So one of the things that you guys are doing that we touched on very briefly earlier that I want you to expound upon a little bit is the cognitive therapeutics method. This is the future of healthcare, home healthcare and home assistance.
It's probably the biggest problem facing American society today. It's one of the hardest problems to deal with as a family and as an individual. As you mentioned, it's difficult to watch a loved one go through this.
It is.
So what can we do about it? Well, with home care assistance and the cognitive therapy method, we're going to take a holistic approach, and we're going to focus on your 5 subdomains of cognitive therapy. So we're going to work on activities for your memory, executive function, your attention, and your language. And we have interventionists that can come out on a one-on-one basis and work through an activities book on all 5 of these subdomains.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll spend an hour each time there. And the idea here is to help you get brain exercise, to allow you to have some retention and slow down your cognitive decline. Exercise is the best way for any part of the body, and this is the approach that we like to take. It's patent pending. It was developed with the Buck Institute, California. It's something we're very proud of. We offer it not only in home, but we'll take it into an assisted living center too, or any memory care unit that needs additional help. And our caregivers can help at one level, and we have specialty trained interventionists to take it to a more in-depth level. And with the baby boomers coming, you want to be able to stay on top of this. So I think the cognitive therapies is the next approach to taking care of people with these cognitive diseases.
You touched on something very interesting there that I want to highlight, and I want to make sure that people understand it. What he just said is that if you know somebody in an assisted living program, if they are already there, if you own one of those places, HomeCare Assistance can be a partner of yours. They can come out and help with the cognitive therapy. That is one of the services you offer. So there doesn't have to be a complete separation of assisted living and home care assistance. Yes, your primary focus is the patient in the home, but listen, it's all about making people age better and more comfortably. And you're going to do that any way you can, right?
Any way we can. And think about it, at an assisted living home, the caregivers are a 1-to-many ratio. You can bring us in there and augment them. And now you're living in a home, in your assisted living center, and you're still getting 8 to 10 hours of dedicated service and attention from a caregiver, like you're already receiving in your home.
Awesome.
And you're not alone all day long.
Yeah, that's great. So we have some pictures we want to put up right now. The first picture is going to be of Phil's office, which is in the Green Tree Square, Green Tree Square on Route 73 in Marlton. It's a beautiful new office. Believe me, HomeCare Assistance spent way too much money renovating the space for Phil. I was just kidding. No, they didn't.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's an awesome space. You guys are really happy, and it's all brand new, right?
Oh, it's all brand new. We converted a yogurt shop into our home care office. My little girl, she helped with a lot of designs and picking out the colors. Pretty amazing for a 17-year-old, and I'm very proud of what it looks like. It's a great place to go.
Yeah, so we urge everybody to go there and check it out, because listen, you're going to go to a cool place that's very comfortable to talk about a very important topic. So the second picture we have is the balance care method. So why don't we go into that a little bit?
Well, the balance care method is really something that we started out a couple years ago. A lot of companies offer help for activities of daily living, so eating, dressing, transferring, things like that. We want to go beyond that, so we're looking at helping you with your relationships, longevities, and living a purposeful life. And we're going to do that with our balance care method, with activities, safety, social stimulation, getting people to be engaged, and just find their abilities. I'm sorry, I just lost my space.
No, you're fine, because basically what it is it's that we're not one specialized thing. It's a complete balance. It's a whole.
Right. 2/3 of our longevity is based on controllable lifestyle factors, and this is where balance care method comes in. So through healthy diet, physical activity, sharp minds, and social ties, even some calmness and purpose, religion or meditation, are going to complete your sense of being.
Yeah, and that's a different approach, because a lot of times it's just, all right, well, what can we do to keep this person, get them better, or really just keep them quiet, I think is a lot of the scenarios that aren't very positive. And it sounds like the balance care method really is setting you guys apart.
Yeah, we don't want to just sit your parents down in front of the television. We want to do something with them.
Yeah, that's right. And then the third picture we have talks, it shows a little bit more about those cognitive therapies that we just talked about. So, real quickly, just again, give that real brief overview on the cognitive therapies and why it's so important. If you can't tell everyone, I'm really pushing the cognitive therapies because it's huge and it's really important.
It means everything. It's what's going to set us apart. It's what is the biggest problem facing America today. And you just want to exercise your mind. And our activity-based program is proven to slow down the progression of this disease. And we're very proud of it. We really are. And on YouTube for HomeCare Assistance, you can start seeing some information about cognitive therapies. It just makes their life better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Phil, it has been a fantastic morning. I urge everybody out there in this situation to call Phil, to go see Phil, and to get your loved one to age as comfortably as possible. So, what I want you to do right now is to look right into camera 2 and tell everybody how they can reach you and cover everything. Phone numbers, websites, YouTube channels.
Sure.
Phil D'Angelo, let them know.
All right, so I can be reached at our website, HomeCareAssistanceSouthJersey.com. We can also be reached by phone, 856-596-8276. We even have a Facebook page that you can like us on. It covers all the things that I talked about and more. Our website is fabulous. There's so much information there and a variety of ways to contact us through email or phone. And take the opportunity to look it over. You may see something that could benefit your life or a loved one around you.
Awesome. I want to thank Phil D'Angelo from HomeCare Assistance so much for being here today. This was so informative. It was great. I hope you enjoyed it.
I had a great time. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk.
You're quite welcome. Go check them out at HomeCare Assistance in the Green Tree Square on 73 in Marlton. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back on Morning Coffee.